But when we sat down on a Sunday morning expecting the Jets to embarrass themselves, because that is the expectation, I figured it would be a quiet embarrassment. I figured it would just be a typical, they suck, they're not well coached, it's just a bad, disgusting Sunday. And what it turned into was far worse. Because I don't know if you, Tiki, or anyone else in the audience had the same experience I did, but I kept having flashbacks. As we saw the incompetence at the end of the first half, I had a flashback. When I heard Aaron Glenn after the game being asked a fair question about Justin Fields, I had a flashback. All I could think about was another coach in another situation with another team. All I could think about was, is Aaron Glenn essentially Joe Judge?
Interesting formation.
I mean, really, you're at the 4-yard line, and you don't feel comfortable enough in your offense to be able to run a traditional play. I mean, I get the first one when you put yourself kind of backed up inside the 1-yard line.
I mean, this is sad.
I mean, that is just a complete lack of confidence in faith of your offense to be able to execute.
Tell me the difference. Like, literally, for every Giant fan out there, welcome to the conversation. For every Jet fan out there, you guys remember that?
For those who don't remember, that was Joe Judge. That was the Joe Judge kneel at the 4-yard line.
And that kneel at the 4-yard line defined Joe Judge's tenure. He was unable to recover from it because it was so bad and so pathetic. And when I sat there at the end of the first half, in the same shock and awe that every other Jet fan had and every other football fan had, all I could think about was that. And that's sad. And then it got worse after the game, which we'll get to in a little bit, with his answer on why he never considered pulling Justin Fields and won't consider pulling Justin Fields. And even asking the question is blasphemous. That's how bad Sunday was. It wasn't just a loss. It wasn't just yeah, they're bad. That was a Judgian kind of embarrassment that we all witnessed. And I said this year, very early on in our tenure together, I said, it takes a special kind of awfulness to lose your job this quickly. We are on a road to that special kind of awfulness.
Unfortunately, I hate to agree with you. I want to debate you. I want to say that you're wrong. I want to say that this is just going to take time. I even want to say, you know what? Maybe you just have the wrong quarterback, which probably is the case. But when you look at some of the decisions that were made in this game, now I get it from, and this is, by the way, both sides of this game, because Sean Payton made some of those conceding play calls as well, and it was just kind of like, what is your issue? Why are you not, Bo Nix had a good rookie season, and you don't trust him? You're going to run the ball on the 30-yard line, 2 plays in a row, and just punt it back? I got why Sean Payton did it, because Sean Payton knows that he has an elite defense, not the best, one of the best defenses that gets after the quarterback and has corners that can lock down anybody. So I can get why, with the lead, and you're Sean Payton, you say, you know what? Good luck, Jets. Figure it out against our defense. But for the Jets to do the same thing and throw us back into 1960 football was something that was frustrating. It was unexplainable and unjustified. If you are 0-4, right? 0 for whatever, 0 for 8 on third down, you're 0 for 5 on the season. What in the hell do you have to lose? Seriously, what do you have to lose? Lose the game? Guess what? Everybody thinks you're losing anyways. So you have to at least try and give your quarterback, in this case Justin Fields, a chance to do something, even if you're terrified that it's going to result in, negativity. Because negativity is finding you no matter what you do.
Well, it's the thing I can't get past is the Jets could have won this game. Okay, there were a lot of things that could have gone differently, and they could have won this football game. And I kept sitting there in the second half as my brain was going back and forth on, wow, they could win this game. How am I going to feel when they win this game? Like, my feeling would be excitement that they won, but I wouldn't be able to get past some of the stench and some of the things I saw. Because that sequence at the end of the first half, and while I didn't fully agree with everything Kurt Warner said with Rich Eisen, because I disagreed when they criticized Aaron Glenn for not running a play right before the 2-minute warning, that one I agreed with. Because that was the Jets saying, you know what? Let's milk the clock down to 2 minutes. We got timeouts. We got time. Right. There's no need to rush. So I thought that criticism right before the 2-minute warning was completely unfair by Kurt Warner. But everything after that, they were right about. And the fact that they did not run a play on 4th and 1 from the 47, in which I'm even screaming at the TV, all right, you have no confidence in this offense? Throw a Hail Mary. Then let it get down to 3 seconds if you have so little confidence. And I give Glenn this. He admitted today, I should have thrown a Hail Mary. That's where he admitted his mistake. But it was so putrid embarrassing that it's one of those images that, I'm sorry, my fellow Jet fans, I want to believe in this coach, and I'm not saying they should fire him now, give him the full season. I think this was judgy in that I don't know if this image is going to be forgotten about when we're sitting here at the end of the year. And I remember with Joe Judge, when that happened in the game against Washington, it was uncomebackable. It was fair or not, because I remember Schmelk, who you do a great job with on the post-game show, and I love John. I don't mean to kill him here, but John after the game was like, well, you have to understand it. Mike Lennon, I think, was the quarterback.
Right.
And I was screaming at the radio. I was like, John, you're right. They had an LD offense, as I like to say on the Rico. It's an inappropriate comment, but they're limp, okay? Put it that way. But nevertheless, despite that, you can't do that. The image of that is quitting.
Right.
The image of that is so pathetic. And I believe the end of the first half was the same image. And that's why I played that call for you. Listen to what those broadcasters said in that call. It's the same thing. This is sad. Wasn't that Chris Fowler's line? Chris Fowler, whatever is that, Chris Myers?
Yeah, well.
This is sad. That's what he said. It was the same thing yesterday. It was sad, Tiki.
It's sad because it's inept. It feels like ineptitude. And it's like, I'm sitting here trying to evaluate what I think about Aaron Glenn 6 games into this football season. And I remember what I felt at the beginning when he was hired in the offseason and he had this like badass attitude, and it was just kind of like, don't mess with Aaron Glenn. Right? Aaron Glenn is not going to stand for nonsense. And I'm talking about from a player standpoint, if you're one of his players, or from a media standpoint. Don't come with him with nonsense. Remember that feel we had about him? And it almost felt like, man, he is a badass. Like he is borrowing, because he doesn't have it fully himself yet. He is borrowing this mojo that Dan Campbell walks around with. Like, don't mess with me at all. I know it's going to be okay. And I expect that every time I see from him or hear from him. And I almost feel like him trying to be somebody he's not, because it's clear he fully doesn't know what he's doing. Right? He doesn't have.
You think so?
100%. I mean, I mean, it's obvious just by saying, but you know what I mean? So
yes,
it's almost like he projected as this, I'm in control, I'm this badass, I got it all figured out, just trust me. When he probably would have been better off saying, these are the things that I promise are going to happen. We're going to get these things cleaned up. We're going to be a smart football team, but some things are going to go wrong at times, and I'll figure this thing out as we go on. Like, he came in with this perception that he was going to have it all buttoned up because of his success with Dan Campbell as a defensive coordinator, with his history as an NFL player. I know exactly what I'm doing, and don't worry, trust me, I got this. You're not going to hear from us. We're going to be quiet. We're not trying to win the offseason. Just when it becomes game time, we're going to go out there and ball. And what we're getting instead is, what do I do in this moment? All right, let me celebrate, run down the field, and do my celebration because I think we've won the game. When in actuality, you didn't. Right? So it's almost like this facade of competence when he's still figuring it out.
Right.
And it shows up on Sunday afternoon.
A facade of competence. That's a great term because you're right. He puts up a facade of, I know what I'm doing, just trust me. He says it all the time.
100%.
And I want to trust Aaron Glenn.
Of course you do.
I like Aaron Glenn.
So do I.
We all do. But the results are showing someone who doesn't know what they're doing. The end of the first half was Judge-like. It was bad. And then after the game, to me, it got worse. Because I felt just as one individual, and we'll get more into this as the show rolls on, I felt like in the middle of this game, they should have pulled Justin Fields for Tyrod Taylor. I tweeted it out. I felt that way. Like, hey, if you want to win this game, Tyrod Taylor gives you a better chance.
Yes.
Okay? He didn't do it. I didn't expect him to do it, but I certainly expect that good reporters, and the Jets have good reporters, are going to at least ask him, hey, coach, Justin Fields put together one of the worst all-time performances you could have from a quarterback. Should you pull him? Were you thinking about pulling him? And this is the second part of the Glenn Judge comparison. Joe Judge lost his job after 2 years, in my opinion, not just because of the losses, but because he talked his way out of the job. And and because of the play I mentioned against Washington.
Yes.
Well, I give you the play, the end of the first half on Sunday, yesterday against Denver. Now I want to present to you the audio case of Aaron Glenn doing his best to talk his way out of this job. Here's Brian Costello asking a question that's on everybody's mind concerning this quarterback.
Justin's numbers are not good from this game. Is he going to be your quarterback next week, or would you consider?
What kind of question is that?
Look, he did not have a good game. I mean, I think it's a fair question.
There's a number of guys that, sometimes this league is like this, and there are guys that have bad games. That doesn't mean you just bench them. Come on, you know better than that.
First of all, here's the part of this that really pisses me off. He knows better than that. Don't belittle him and every other Jet fan. He sucked yesterday, Coach. That's not exonerating the offensive line. It's not exonerating your wide receivers. It's not exonerating your dumb play caller in Tanner Engstrand, who also doesn't know what he's doing. I'm not exonerating them. They all stink. But don't act like Brian Costello or me or anyone else simply saying, hey, you're considering sitting him? Acting like we just said something so egregious. No, the egregious thing is acting like our question is egregious.
Yeah.
He was terrible yesterday, Coach. It's okay to say it and say, I thought about it. I want to stick with Justin. You can give a million answers for why you stuck with this guy, but don't insult Costello. And I don't care about Costello. I love him and all. You're insulting my intelligence. You're insulting every Jet fan's intelligence. Really? It's that offensive that we asked about Justin Fields, who reminded us of Zach Wilson yesterday, minus the turnovers?
Come on. He has no turnovers because he doesn't throw the ball. 9 sacks in this game, which is unbelievable.
Yeah.
Utterly unbelievable that you give up 9. And not even give up, because most of it is him holding the football. The answer is easy for Aaron Glenn. You don't insult the media member who's asking a very obvious question, one that most teams would address in a completely different way, because when you have negative 10 yards in total offense in the pass game, that includes the sacks. Then something has gone specifically awry. Specifically meaning quarterback awry.
Yes.
The answer was he still gives us the best chance to win. So, no, he's going to be our quarterback.
And by the way, if you curtly answer that, as much as I play the audio and disagree with him, I won't raise my voice the way I just did, because I was almost insulted by that.
You'll say, you know what, he's right.
Or I'd say
Tyrod Taylor is good. He's a good backup, but he's not winning these games for us.
Or I could say that, or I could say, I disagree with you, but I get it. To act like the question was absurd is ridiculous. And I want to play this clip because I want to give Connor Hughes credit. So that was the question from Costello, who got reprimanded like he's a 9-year-old. Glenn gives that answer. And here's Connor Hughes kind of saying, I'm going to go back to this because, bro, the guy's not any good. Here's Connor's follow-up and Aaron Glenn's answer to this.
The struggles have been, you guys are 0-6 though. Like this isn't, a team that's 2-3 or 3-3, and the quarterback has a bad game. And Justin's played a role in some of these offensive struggles. The time to throw.
Everybody's played a role in that. So it's not just Justin. Because I understand where you guys are trying to take this, but listen, there's a number of other guys that got to pick their game up too. So I don't want to sit there and pin this all on Justin.
Well, I hate when coaches do this. We're not pinning it all on Justin, but we're saying he wasn't good.
Yeah.
Can we talk about replacing him? I honestly believe, and you could disagree with me, you could watch the tape and say, I'll tell you why you're wrong. If they replaced Justin Fields with a competent quarterback like Tyrod Taylor at halftime, they would have won that game yesterday. I believe that. That final drive, I believe they would have gained the subsequent yards to set Nick Folk up for a game-winning field goal.
Yeah, the challenge is there were many ways to have won this game for the Jets yesterday morning. Getting a first down would have been one of them.
Yes.
Honestly.
Yes.
And part of that is on Garrett Wilson, because he slides trying to catch that third down pass, and Afunga comes over and just drills him and doesn't hold it going to the ground. Justin Fields scrambling for the first down, and he comes up, just a half a yard short because he slips. Like, there's so many things that happened in this game that easily could have put the Jets in position to win it. But if Tyrod Taylor is the quarterback in this game, the sacks probably still happen.
Yeah.
Right? You might have an interception. I can't promise you that Tyrod Taylor is going to have won you this game, because things would have been different.
But in terms of things being different, there were open receivers that Justin Fields did not pull the trigger on. Isn't it fair to say that if a veteran like Tyrod Taylor was the quarterback, he pulls the trigger on maybe a few of those?
Well, yeah. The problem is, for me to get deep into this, it's too inside football. The problem is and you mentioned this with Tanner Engstrand, he goes 12 personnel a lot. You know what you're getting when you do 12 against the Denver Broncos? You're getting a zero blitz, right? You're getting extra blitzers. You're getting tons of people coming after you. And if your quarterback can't process quickly and figure out where to get rid of the football, you know what's going to happen? He's going to get sacked.
Yes.
And so the play calling lent itself to the problems that were created. You know what I mean? And
100%.
And so I'm watching. I'm like, get out of 12, right? Put 3 wide on the field because it's the only way you're going to, 1, create space, and 2, maybe give Justin Fields a chance to be a scrambler and find space and go pick up first downs that way. Because you're not doing it traditionally. You're not doing, let me protect the edges. You know, it's counterintuitive. It's like, oh man, we're getting the crap beat out of us up front. Our quarterback's getting sacked. Let me put 2 tight ends in there to protect them, right? We'll get some chips. But guess what? They're going to find a way to bring 1 more. You know what I mean?
And also Mason Taylor can't block me.
Right. There's always going against the Vance Joseph defense. There is always, in a critical moment, going to be 1 more than you can block. Always. And so there's only one way to mitigate it. Spread them out and give your quarterback space. That's the only way to do it. And they didn't do it at all throughout this entire game, and it started to piss me off as it was going on. I hoped that Kurt Warner would say it, but he never did. Right? And so I was getting frustrated watching that game because what was obviously happening was that the offense for the Jets was not prepared for what the Denver Broncos defense was presenting them over and over and over and over again.
Not good, Tiki.
Not at all.
It actually makes me feel good that Tiki was also upset watching a Jet game. We can share in anger, different anger, but anger nonetheless.
I get mad with incompetence. Like, if you get beat, it is what it is, right? If Nick Bonito is just better than Ola Fashanu, fantastic, man. Good for him, man. Right. If Justin Stannard is just better than, whoever is trying to block him, like a running back or even comes off the edge, whatever, dude. If Jonathan Cooper just whoops somebody's ass, fantastic. But if you just give them the advantage, then I get frustrated. And that's what I felt like I was watching yesterday.
WFAN NFL football is powered by Verizon. Jet fans, will hear from you next at 888-808-1019. And did Aaron Glenn make the wrong decision not attempting a game-winning field goal that would have been 64 yards? We'll debate it coming up.